Okay, so we're looking at the second year Stats and Mechanics textbook, and we're on chapter 6, which is projectiles, and we're looking at exercise 6b, which is looking at horizontal and vertical components. So on the last question, question 7, it's been relatively straightforward so far. So they've just given us a problem-solving one to finish things off. Okay, so particle is projected with an initial velocity 3ki plus 2kj. Okay, so obviously we've got the unknown k in there, but basically it's going 3k to the right, and that's going to be the I component, and 2k up. Okay, so that's the direction it's actually travelling in. Okay, so then they're asking us to find the angle of projection. So clearly that must mean that, and they don't mention doing it in terms of k, so that must mean that k is going to cancel. Okay, so but you know, if at all unsure, just try the question as you normally would, and then hopefully if they've done something a little bit unusual like they have here, you'll see how it's gonna work out if you just sort of get started on your usual method. So what would I normally do? Well, I would say, so I know that's a right angle. I've got the opposite and the adjacent sides. So I would say tan theta is opposite over adjacent, and yeah. So you might not sort of realise that immediately on doing the question, but now those k's are going to cancel. So then it becomes absolutely fine. So theta is going to be arctan 2/3. So let's do that in the calculator. So I get theta to be 33.7. And it is clear from my diagram, but I could put above the horizontal. Well, actually, I mean, it's above the horizontal if I'm assuming that k is positive, which it doesn't actually say it is. So you could argue that, I don't know that it's above the horizontal, but it's definitely a 33.7 degree angle, I hope. Okay, so then, right. So then, and then we've seen this come up in questions 5 and 6 as well, that we need to then find the actual speed. So that's going to be basically the length of the hypotenuse. But the k's wouldn't cancel. So if I just went and used Pythagoras on those two sides, the k wouldn't cancel. So they do give me some further information. They tell me that the initial speed is 3√13. So again, if I just tackle that as I normally would. So normally, I would say u squared. So basically, I'm literally just using Pythagoras here. So it's going to be 3k squared plus 2k squared. So let's be really careful that you square the coefficients too. Okay. So yeah, so obviously I'm still in terms of k there, but they've actually told me the initial speed. So u is obviously then going to be the square root of all of that. So let's write all this out with separate stages. So u is this, and be really careful, you can't just square root each of those independently, don't fall into that trap. So 3√13 is the square root of 9k squared plus 4k squared. Okay, so the best way to deal with that, I would say, is just to square both sides, because that's what's making it look really awkward at the moment. So 3√13 all squared is 117. And then, of course, so that means I can get rid of the square root, and then I could have done this earlier. Obviously, 9k squared plus 4k squared is 13k squared. So I'm going to divide by 13 and get 9 is k squared. And I'm going to get, yeah, so this is interesting because I'm not totally sure. So they're only saying value of k. So if in doubt, I would certainly take the positive one. And I did say here, this diagram is only correct if k is positive. And I suppose it does say projected, so you could say that implies projected upwards. But yeah, I mean, I'm assuming, I would say, in the wording of that question, unless I'm missing something, you don't really know that k is 3, not -3, but I'm assuming they want the positive one. Oh, okay. No, so that's just a slight typo in the question. So it should, and then that wouldn't happen if this was an exam question. It should say values of k. So we were all right. That's good. Okay, so did we get 33.7? Yeah, so actually, so that does go back though to this answer, that if we're saying k can be negative, that might not be above the horizontal, because if k is negative, it's actually going 3k to the left and 2k down. So it'd actually be traveling in that direction. And that would be the 33.7 degrees. So, yeah, so I can give the value of the angle, but I can't actually say it's definitely above the horizontal.